And that's why they're successful. Because quite frankly, I'm being serious. Like, I think oftentimes too many people are winging it with podcasting. They're not actually taking the time to be intentional. They're not taking the time to understand what their audience is looking for. And you knew that this audience was going to, they're going to challenge you if you didn't have it right.
For sure.
And like, even you saying like to have a reason behind your ranking, baby, you don't have to get nobody reason. This is my ranking. That would be my thought process. Like, I don't have to tell you why. This is how I feel.
It's a theory.
And so that's why you're staying very on brand. You're staying true to the culture and true to that audience, because you know that audience, they're diehard. And I think that's probably why they tune in from week to week, is that they see that you've taken the time. You're not just out here just talking shit. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Podcast Trapper. I'm your host, Anna Gogo, founder of Black Pod Collective, Black Pod Festival, and Adode Media. And as you guys know, each week I really kind of share the behind the scenes of podcasting and a little bit about my experiences. But I think you guys learned a few weeks ago that we launched a new segment talking about how they built this. So in this segment, we have different people in the podcast space joining us to talk about pretty much how they built their platforms, how they got to where they were, and I'm super excited for who I have here today. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
What's up, everybody? I am QB and co-founder of Culturalist Theory.
Yeah, what's happening is CJ Williams, other co-founder of Culturalist Theory.
Okay, so you've said Culturalist Theory, but quickly tell the audience, like, what is Culturalist Theory? Where did the name come from? Like, what is the brand? What is it that you guys do?
Culturalist Theory is a media entertainment company. We are starting with our YouTube channel and building it out. So far, we have conquered, or are conquering, a ranking list from the 90s to now, discographies from R&B and hip-hop artists.
Yeah, we're basically doing storytelling through artist catalogs and ranking them for fun. Culturalist Theory is actually a scientific theory of how people interpret art. So we just kind of flipped that and made it culture, black stuff, list, rankings, theory, opinion.
I love that, because I was like, I wonder there has to be something to this. I feel
it's a real thing.
I feel like this is
There's
a
layers.
thing.
Yeah.
Like, there has to be layers to it, and I love the way you guys have broken that down. So the reason I actually have them joining us today, see, I feel like they're being super humble, and they're not really like popping their shit a little bit, because like they should have done a mic drop. If this was me, I'd have been like, and mic drop, we've hit this amount in this amount of time, but I'm going to do the humble brag for you. In this time, like, remind me how long ago you guys launched this?
2/22/22. So last year, February 22nd.
Yep.
Oh, that's cute.
We did a thing.
Come on, branding. Come on, branding. A little brand launch. She said 2/22/22, and at first I was like 2/22/22.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
I love that. I love that a lot.
So last February.
They're gonna be a 2/23. No, it doesn't sound.
Well,
the
you
same.
can do December 31st because that's 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Yeah.
I'm not launching anything else. Let me be clear. Nothing else will be launched. Okay, we're done for now.
Play that back, right?
We're done.
Clip this.
That's it. So, Jesus, I rebuke it. But no, so walk us through, like, why this? Because, like, whenever I watch your show, and yes, I've watched a few episodes, whenever I watch your show, I get very much so, we might be aging ourselves, because I do know a large amount of my audience probably may not know this, which hurts my spirit, but it reminds me of, Free and AJ back in the day, getting off of school, and, like, it gives me that vibe. What was your inspiration for it?
First of all, I love getting off of school because school is work.
For sure.
School was work, I remember. The inspiration was basically filling a gap in the market where you would see a lot of YouTube channels that have lists, have rankings, but they weren't doing a service to the culture, to the things that we grew up on and the things that we're familiar with. And so what we wanted to do is offer a different perspective to the audience members, and knowing that there are people who are just like us, who have the same feelings and nostalgia that we do. Absolutely.
There's channels that do similar content, but they do it for Friends. What else?
Sopranos.
So Elvis, Sopranos. They do it, which are fine shows. Don't get it twisted. But I like Fresh Prince, Martin, Tupac, Brandy. Where are those lists? Where are those countdowns at? They didn't exist, and at least in a high quality format. So that's what we decided to do. Fill that gap.
Right. The Free and AJ vibes are just coincidental.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the logo.
I would say.
I was like,
We may have been inspired.
I was like, even looking at like your set up and
Yeah.
everything like that. And don't worry, guys, for those who are watching on YouTube, we're going to make sure that we link to it. And for anybody who's listening on the listening platforms, you're going to get a link as well.
Sure.
But definitely when I like, even like the TV to the side, I remember I was like, Matthew, you see this? Do you think this is a special type of TV? He was like, no, it's a regular TV probably that's just turned to the side. And I was like, you don't have to talk to me like that. And so,
Watch your mouth.
you know, I'm like, what you not gonna do? But like even like just the whole vibe of it, and I love the fact that you guys are talking about you didn't see this in the space, you know, like you weren't seeing anybody else doing this, and I feel like oftentimes everybody creates the same type of content, the same type of shows where it's like, you know, interviewing people or just talking shit around the table with their exactly.
Yeah.
So why this particular topic? Outside of yes, you didn't see it in the space, but what about this is like resonates for you guys?
I'll let you start.
Yeah, I mean, I think we started. So the goal is, this is why it's called Culturalist Theory and not music theory, right? So our goal is to hit the different pillars of culture. So that's TV, film, sneakers, and sports. At some point, we'll grow to where all of that is going on at the same time. We wanted to start with music just so we could have an identity, right? And I'm a huge music person. You know, I've had a music podcast for years now, and so that was the easiest barrier of entry, honestly. And so this is an idea that has been in conception for a long time. It just took the right push from her to actually make it happen. So that's why we chose that.
I knew.
Are we doing something? Or,
you know,
or what?
she was like, come on, let's get this together.
Yeah.
But no, what about for you? Like, what about this resonated as a topic?
I think starting with music resonated with me. Obviously, I grew up on different types of music. Going to a diverse high school, there are things that he may have been like big into No Limit, but whereas I would get into some different types of R&B or what have you. So what I like most about what we're doing is the coming expansion and being able to storytell through those discographies. So it's not simply this is better than this is better than this. It's why people love it so much. And then with that, you get a lot of discussion and get a lot of engagement. So I think that's what resonates with me the most is the community of it.
So already, y'all, they basically telling us like we need to get our lives together and stop listening to ratchet stuff, because honestly, each time I found myself, you know, I have to admit, I listen to the ratchetest of ratchetest in the car. Like in the car, I sell dope. I am a drug pusher, and I drive an SUV, so I'm leaning back like yes. And you know, I'm not about that life at all. I grew up in Sandy Springs, and if you are from Georgia, you know what that means. And so this is not my life, but it definitely made me realize that oh wait. I used to listen to things of substance, and now I'm a city girl. And, you know, like it really does bring back that nostalgia. And that's definitely like each time I've tuned into an episode, I found myself being like, one, there's a lot of things I did not know, you know, like just a lot of things I did not know. I am not a music head, let me be clear. And just a lot of things that's like kind of taking the history into it. And so I want to talk about like the quality and the amount of time that goes into doing something like that. You know, like just getting on a mic and talking, you could wing that, you know, like there might not be production notes and what goes into it, but something of this caliber where it's like, I remember one time I was like, that can't be true. And I Googled it and it was true.
Wow.
And I don't know what I was planning on doing if it was not true. Like, was I going to send y'all a DM to be like, you lied? I have no clue.
Put it in the comments.
You know, but clearly, you know, I know for a fact, because I've seen you guys' comments on your YouTube, that there's people who will definitely, they're ready.
Oh, yeah.
When I say ready, I was like, oh, see, this couldn't be me, because I've been and said some things. Like, who are you talking to?
I don't have notifications on.
You know, I don't have to do none of this.
Yeah.
But what goes into preparing for just one episode? How much time? And what does your team look like that helps you put this together?
There you go.
Okay. Well, what it looks like in terms of hours, I can't necessarily quantify because we end up doing a lot of things at the same time. Mm-hmm. So specifically for an episode on, say, a Brandy, might go back and revisit each of the albums so that you're familiar with it. Go to some interviews, some Wikipedia notes to see, hey, what was going on with Brandy at this time? Was this her first album, her third album? Was she, having any contract disputes or anything going on with the record label?
Hiding a baby, hiding a marriage.
Damn.
my bad. I love Brandy, though.
Some folks don't know about that.
I'm not going to get into that lawsuit or anything like that. But to build a whole story around whoever the artist is, or whether we're doing a record label or some kind of, I think we did the Grammys get it right kind of thing, or ordering the Grammys. That way people get a comprehensive view of whatever the list ends up being. We can justify the ranking. Yep. People might not agree with the ranking, but we can justify why something's at number 4 and not at number 1.
And then in addition to the research, the actual shooting day, we're batching shoots. Let's be very clear.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we just did one not too long ago. How many did I do?
Like a dozen.
I did 12. I recorded 12. And these are 4,000 and 5,000 word scripts. So we're talking for hours straight. So it's work. But that's what was missing, in my opinion. Watching YouTube, you may have somebody in their bedroom, just kind of and just giving their opinion for 20 minutes straight. That's one thing. I wanted to see something that was scripted, well thought out. You know what I mean? That had a story, a beginning, middle, and end to it, feeling, and that's why we script these out, and that's why we do it the way we do it.
And that's why they're successful. Because quite frankly, I'm being serious. I think oftentimes too many people are winging it with podcasting. Yep. They're not actually taking the time to be intentional. They're not taking the time to understand what their audience is looking for. And you knew that this audience was going to... They're going to challenge you if you didn't have it right.
For sure.
And even you saying to have a reason behind your ranking, baby, you don't have to get nobody reason. This is my ranking. That would be my thought process. I don't have to tell you why. This is how I feel.
It's a theory.
And so that's why you're staying very on brand. You're staying true to the culture and true to that audience, because that audience, they're diehard. And I think that's probably why they tune in from week to week, is that they see that you've taken the time. You're not just out here just talking shit. So one thing y'all didn't answer is how many people put this together?
Yes.
How many people do this?
At first, it was just us two.
Okay.
At first.
How long is that first? For how long before?
6 months?
Yeah, I would say 6 months.
Okay.
6 months, and then we were like, okay, we need reinforcements. Because the fact of the matter is we named all the pillars that we want to touch. We don't want to just be one day a week. We want to be every day, multiple times a day. And that's impossible with just us two. Mm-hmm. So we put the bird call out for some writers, screened about. We got a good response.
Yeah, we did.
And then it gets whittled down to the 2 or 3 that make it. And so right now we have 3 writers on the team, 3 contributors that help us with a lot of the scripts. Mm-hmm. And so it's been a godsend, because but we still edit in-house. You know what I mean? We still have to go and obviously physically be there to perform. Right. So that's still there, and we're working on things to kind of clean up that, add more personalities. Again, because you can only go so far with
2 people.
Yeah.
There is a certain amount of quality control as well.
For sure. Yeah.
I'm 100% sure of it, because y'all aren't stumbling through your words.
Yeah.
I remember one, I was like, wonder how many takes.
Man, just outtakes.
Some days are better than others.
I really want you guys to do one where it's all the mess ups. It's just all the mess ups from whatever your most popular video is, all the mess ups from that.
We could.
That would be
because
hilarious.
For me, those are the moments that I find it helps you connect, because it's sometimes we be in here and Matthew be looking at me why are you struggling today? And I'm like,
You struggling? No.
Nah.
It's but I think we've only had one content day where I don't know what was wrong that day. I did not have it. We had to take multiple takes after multiple takes. And I hadn't eaten either.
That's the scene.
And that's when we made the decision that we were going to start ordering food, because I think we were here for 12 hours.
No.
And by the end, I was and then, I was like, what is this episode about? And Matthew was like,
relax.
That's a recipe for disaster.
Let's breathe.
Snickers.
That was the first time I feel I really understood that commercial.
First?
Because I'm not a person who goes without food. Let's be clear.
Okay.
I don't. I'm not hangry. I'm typically there's a snack close by.
I'm well nourished.
I'm well nourished over here. Okay. This is why whenever people come to the studio and they just open the fridge, I'm like, baby, that is not for you. Do you need something? I can help you, but don't go in my fridge. Those are my snacks. I'm still working through that. We'll have a fridge in my office in the next place.
Nice.
But no, so you've gotten help now. Mm-hmm. What does that look like if you're comfortable sharing from a funding perspective? Because a lot of independent creators, I think people have grand ideas,
of course,
but the execution of it ends up having to be scaled back because of the fact that they just don't have the funds.
Absolutely.
They don't have the resources, or sometimes it's the connections. Because I tell people all the time, it's not always about money. Like, you can make partnerships and connections with people to where it's not that. But from a expense perspective, from where you first were to where you are now, if you're comfortable sharing, I would love to know, like, how much does this cost for you to put this together?
Yeah, it's definitely a cost. Let's be clear. Now, we have been fortunate enough to have resources to where we may have more access to the studio space due to who we know and the things that we bring for what they need from us. So that's a lot of bartering going on.
Yeah, relationships.
But in terms of like, and Q and I have said this from the beginning, when we get people that are writers or contributors or editors, we pay people. Like, we're not, yo, do you want to, like, no, like, we don't get down like that. We look at us as being very fair. And that's why we had a process to vent the people that we did bring on, because there was a trial. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There was a trial period. Like, we got to see if you really, because we're paying. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But luckily, it's cool now. But we want to get to a point where they can quit in what they're doing and that they can make a career out of it. That's the goal. And that's for all of us.
You didn't answer the question because I don't play that.
How
much does it cost?
How much does it cost?
It doesn't have to be like each specific line item, but
It's
total, what does it cost to bring this to life?
Talk to me.
Okay. Well, one more thing I want to mention before I answer your specific question is that what the contributors do bring is their knowledge of it. So whereas I might not have knowledge about XYZ artists or this region or whatever, they might want to dig into that because that's the person they grew up listening to. So that's where they augment or able to help us out. What it ends up costing is it costs per script, and we've broken it down so that people get paid based on what they contribute. How many items or entries that they're able to contribute to our channel. In terms of studio space, like I said, we end up bartering, so we might not have
full cost.
Yeah, it's a full cost, but it costs us something.
And a producer. We have to have a producer in there because we can't
run everything by ourselves.
Yeah, so I mean there's an hourly rate for that. So I mean it varies. That's the thing. So if somebody submits a script.
So like to date. So for example, to date with the podcast, I probably spent about $20,000 on this podcast.
Okay.
So like that's like an estimate of like what I've spent on just like producing my podcast. But like to date, what would you say this has cost?
I don't know.
Including trademark.
That's a very good question. I would say maybe 8.
I was thinking 8 to 10.
Yeah.
So 8 to 10 up until this point. So it's been an investment.
For sure.
100%. I'm sure of it.
And the time.
And the time.
What?
That's another thing.
How many times? So you guys say you guys record multiple. So you do batch sessions.
Absolutely.
Yes. How many are you doing and how often?
We do at least 5 each every time we shoot. So we end up with 10. So that gives us 10 weeks out.
Wow.
This last time we doubled up. So we ended up, like he said, he did a dozen. I think we came out of the studio with about 20.
Oh, wow.
However, over the summer, at least, we're going to be doing 2 a week. So that still only gets us another 10 weeks.
Yeah.
That we try to do like every 6 weeks, at least every other month.
Yeah, so 6 to 8 weeks, we try to get in there and just
Knock
bang them out.
Yep.
But again, people are asking, can we get more?
Mm-hmm.
We're like, we're working on it, but that comes with having the team of writers, because we can't write all of it, obviously. Mm-hmm. And so we have a team of writers. We've got a nice runway. It's like, okay, cool. Now we can do 2 a week now. But that means we'd have to get back in there.
Exactly. It's like they'll comment, oh, when is this artist coming out? It's like, I can't write this tonight.
Right.
Shoot
They're
it
like,
tomorrow,
what are you
edit it, and
talking
have it to you next week.
Clearly that studio's in your basement. Just go downstairs.
We just
knock this out. Like your robot in the corner. Tell it to write your stuff and let's do this.
Exactly.
Like
my AI generator.
Yeah.
Not yet.
You started this.
Yeah.
Come on.
You do it.
Get it together.
Yeah.
So, okay. This sounds like from ideation to full-on execution, it's a process. Like, you can't just wake up and be like, today this is what I shall record, and let's do it. Like, you can't listen to the latest song and be like, oh, yeah, this is what's coming to mind. Let's get it out. No. But how have you been able to market this? Because that's the piece that I feel like a lot of people just don't understand. Like, I tell people all the time, starting a podcast, starting a YouTube channel, that's the easiest part.
Yep.
It's not rocket science. But it's the marketing and the growth and like audience engagement and like your videos. It's not like, oh, you posted and people aren't commenting. People are genuinely interacting. Yep. So walk us through, like, what were you what were some of the first things you did to market it?
I think it starts with an intention. And I think what CJ did with his ideation was definitely having done some market research, knowing what YouTube people want, knowing those other channels and how they facilitate their engagement in their communities was a big leg up for us starting this project. Also, he has like 10 plus years of podcast experience already, like 500 episodes recorded. So he lended that experience, obviously, to Culturalist Theory so that we were able to skip the line in some of those places. And what we did from the jump was definitely talk to our audiences, his personal page, my personal page, say, hey, we're starting something new. Come on over, see what it's like. You may not stay, you may stay, but hopefully you'll at least check it out. And if you find your friends who like it, you know, share it so that we're able to grow. And I think our first, you know, couple weeks, we ended up with like 100 subs already, and we're like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah, this is fun.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, like we haven't even really dove into the social media marketing piece of it, right? We both have regular accounts. Neither one of us are celebrities. So we've got regular accounts. We tease it on our accounts. I did some research and said you need to drop 3 episodes at once and then go to your regular cadence. So that's what we did. Day 1 launch, we dropped 3 episodes and then went to our weekly cadence. And within 6 weeks, we were monetized. Because one of those episodes caught into the algorithm, went to about 60,000 views.
So hold on. I want to make sure we touch on that. You said you launched with 3 episodes.
Yep.
Right.
And one of the 3 went viral.
I think, no, it was, we did 3. I think it was the 4th. Yeah.
So the 4th one went viral. So
Yeah.
meaning like not paid ads or anything
Nah.
like that. You literally just organically people found this.
Right.
Yes.
What would you say was different about that video? Like, was there anything special? Like, what's the special sauce?
I do think so. So the video itself was 1998 No Limit Records albums ranked.
Oh.
Right? And so if for people that don't know, because
I was like, you're going to have to talk to them and let them know, like, hey, this is who No Limit is.
Right.
Do you know who that is, Matthew?
So No Limit was a big record label in the South, ran by Master P. They dropped 23 albums in 1998. It was a big run. We'll never see anything like that again. And it was a big deal. But that's a very niche, specific audience that doesn't get a lot of attention. So when you put a video out like this and you make sure the thumbnail is clear and you make sure the title is clear and it's good content, on top of being about 20 minutes, then people see this because they don't get this every day. And they watch it and they stick around for the whole video, so the watch time is high. So YouTube sees the high watch time and they spit it out to other people who watch legacy acts like a Master P or a Snoop Dogg or whatever, Mystical, all those people. Mm-hmm. And so that's how it kind of caught from our perspective.
I love that because of the fact that you touched on all the things that I feel like goes into marketing, which is 1, first understanding the target audience. 2, when you understand the target audience and the fact that they're not traditionally in this day and age, nobody's talking to them, nobody's paying attention to them, and you're creating content that is good quality content, like not just like you on your phone, which there's nothing wrong with that, let me be clear.
4K.
You know, it's 4K quality, you know. It's good content, it's well researched, and then along with this, it's the visual elements. Like you touched into all the things, visual, understanding the audience, as well as understanding really the algorithm and how it pushes content out there. So as you started to grow, because like, I feel like y'all still haven't said how many subscribers you have. I've been waiting for one of y'all to say it.
We're at 8,500.
Yeah, we're knocking on the door, 10K, getting there ever so closely. Somebody brought to my attention, though, I did a show, shout out to my guy, and he said, man, congratulations on 500,000 views. And I was like, what?
Yeah. I think we're at 600K now, like in terms of views for the overall channel.
In a year.
Yeah.
About 80 videos, so like 80 episodes.
Yeah.
So 80 episodes in a year. You've gone viral several times. I mean, at this point, it's not even viral for y'all. These are your views. Like, these are just your views.
Hey,
you know, like, viral is like, oh, one time something kind of blew up.
Yeah.
No, baby, this ain't viral anymore. These are what our monthly stats are. And you said that pretty much out the gate, like, because after something that quickly, you were able to monetize.
Yep.
So with being able to monetize, has that been able to help the process as far as with funding or anything like that? Or have you guys started doing outreach to sponsors or any of those type of elements?
The funding is, so you know how YouTube ads work. They're okay. Like, you're not going to retire. Well, somebody might.
I was like,
time out.
Let's be clear.
Yeah.
Some folks are.
Maybe that's true. Yeah, let me backtrack that. But just out the gate, that's a little bit of a process. But what kind of, it helps offset some of the cost. But you still, I don't want people to get comfortable like, oh, okay, I got one video, I got 10,000, I should be good now. I don't want you to have that expectation.
Not at all.
Have some paper on the side.
You felt that in your spirit. Huh? She was like, actually.
Deep down.
Yeah, please still invest. Please pretend as if that's icing on top of the cake. So that in that aspect, it helps a little bit, but it's not the end all be all yet. And the outreach is coming. We literally have been just working on that literally this week.
Right, we're working on our APKs and our decks.
You're just now starting the outreach for sponsorship.
Sorry, Anna.
Yeah, listen, we're writing. Listen, all this writing, all this editing.
It's a lot of layers. I get it. It's a lot of layers. I get it.
Working.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we had to get comfortable doing was doing the outreach and feeling like our numbers were strong enough to say, hey, our audience is engaged. We have a community of X amount of people.
At 60,000.
So,
like, did you hear that? She went viral at 60,000 and then was not sure if her numbers were strong
enough.
You
got to be consistent.
So for y'all who be launching your podcast with 0 downloads and come to me asking me, how can you get a sponsor? I want you to listen to this.
True.
You don't got not a concept, an episode, but you want to know how you can get sponsored.
Some of these partnerships.
And, you know, but yet at 60, okay, I'm sorry. I just want to make sure y'all are listening to this because this is how they built this. Yeah. And I want you to, it's a mindset thing too. Like, it's not just the process. And that's the piece that I want you guys to talk about as well. Everybody always assumes that there's step 1, 2, 3, 4. But honestly, from what you guys are talking about, it sounds like it's a mindset. Like, you guys had a mindset of quality. You not new to this, you true to this. And, you know, I sense that you're the person who kind of pulls things together. I ain't going to make no assumptions, but that's what I'm sensing.
It's a team effort.
You'll be accurate in that.
I love how you're like, I'll let him give me the kudos. It's a team effort. Such a lady. She's like, it's a team effort.
Right. I watch a lot of tennis. If you watch those press conferences.
I love it. But no, what is the mindset that goes into this? Because it's not easy, like, doing something that you're not making money off of, for real, that takes time, energy, resources, just your life.
Huh. You got to believe in the vision.
Now that I'm thinking about it, you know?
You got to believe.
Yeah.
You got to believe. You have to believe that what you're doing is the right thing, right? Like, the direction that you're going in, there's an end goal. Right. I'm big on that. And that was the tough part with, like, doing the podcast and things of that nature, is the end goal is kind of blurry during doing certain types of podcasts because it's just that steep. You know what I mean? The pop culture joints, the 4 people around a mic, that's cool. I promise you it's entertaining, but to break through is very difficult. So it's trying to come up with an idea that you feel will break through and that you really believe in it. Right. That is the biggest mind state for me.
Yeah, I would agree with that because I would say that you have to start with the end in mind and then work towards that. I think that was one of the things that was important about having the quality off the bat, making sure it was well researched, making sure people, if they're going to poke holes, that we have a rebuttal for that. Yep. So that when we start, it's not just, oh, that's your opinion, and so it doesn't really matter, to be dismissed. And I think part of the longevity and part of the reason that people do engage with it is because they feel like there's substance there. And in terms of the mindset, I think it's passion, it's, intent, it's all those things that go into whatever your career path will be. Particularly with podcasts, you gotta love it. You gotta want to do it. And if you don't, or you said something the other day about people who think they're taking it seriously, but they're really not.
Yeah.
And so I think mindset is important in knowing what you're willing to do to get to that end goal. Because if you're not willing to do all those things, not get paid for however long, or get paid $1 for 1,000 views, or whatever it is, then you're probably not ready, or this is just a hobby for you, and that's okay.
That's fine. Yeah.
As y'all know, I allow, like, Matthew's a part of the show, so y'all can't see him, and most of you have never met him, but he is actively a part of the show. Going forward, we're going to start giving Matthew a mic so he could just add his commentary, but he, like, damn near busted his ass and took the sound panel off the wall all simultaneously, and, like, I was like, do I keep going? Do I stop? Like, what if he falls? Like, do I need to, like, then get up? Like, will he fall gracefully? Like, these were the thoughts going through my mind.
Turning into Spider-Man for real.
Like, he really did. And I was just like, this is why we need to move. Like, he is getting tighter and tighter back there for him. But no, I absolutely love these things because of the fact that I want more people to recognize that your podcast can just be something you do for fun. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be something you make money off of. It can just be a fun thing. And you don't have to come into a studio, which, of course, if you want to, feel free to come on down. But at the same token, you could just do it at home with your friends. Yep. So what do you feel like is the future of your platform? And what do you want it to be, and then how long do you think it's going to take?
That's a very good question. CJ said this already. What we want to do is to expand into the other pillars, which would mean expanding our team so that we have a full slate of writers who can write from each of those pillars. So sneakers, sports, film and TV, you know, America's Favorite Dads, Black Dads, something like that would be a great list to have. And, you know, can't wait to have that one. So expanding into that, I think, is the next step, deciding which pillar to expand into and then going about our same writing process.
Yeah, I see it as complex, IGN, media. And, like here's the thing. Like, we say YouTube channels and all that, and that's cool.
It's a media house.
We're looking at it differently, like on a media level, an entertainment level. So that's conferences. That's the big picture. And just being a go-to for that type of content.
In-person events, yeah. Like
all of that. Big boy stuff.
Well, you heard them here first. Okay, don't forget that. You know, don't forget the little people on the way, okay?
Nobody's little.
Okay, just don't forget about us as you, like, blow up and I can be like, I knew them and, you know, they were in my studio because I'm that person. I'm going to put a picture. So we're going to take a picture and put it on the wall and be like, look at the people who've been here. So don't try to act brand new now. I jump in your DM.
Way back at 100K subs.
The fact that 100K subs, way back at 100K, like that's a little chump change sub. Okay. Everybody can't be like you. I'm going to be like you when I grow up. But no, so before we close out, what advice do you have for independent creators who are really looking to create their own thing?
I would say, as I mentioned, is to start with the end in mind and go forward from there and be consistent in what you're doing.
Yeah, I would say educate yourself. I watched hours of Think Media videos on how YouTube works. You know what I mean? Because those things are constantly changing. And so you need to. I do too. I do too.
They're the reason that we have the lights we have in the studio. Like when I was opening the studio, I was like, I should get this. I was like, oh, you have a kit for this. Oh, baby Celeste, let me go ahead and get this whole kit.
He got that affiliate link too.
I know he got all my money. He got all my money up in the studio because I was like, you know what? You've done the Lord's work. I'll use your link.
Right. You let us know when you have him in here.
Exactly. But no, just educate yourself though. Just learn the process because you could miss one cog and throw off your whole situation. You got the fire show. You think you got the right camera, the right lighting, but your thumbnail ain't it. Or your title isn't it, or your keywords aren't it, and so you want to make sure you're checking off as many boxes as possible because one of them, it's like a house of cards. One of them could crumble the whole thing, and you wasted all your energy, and you can't figure out why your stuff isn't getting looks. We had zero. We started at zero. I mean, like all YouTube channels.
Right.
Started at zero.
Every video starts at zero.
Yeah, every video starts at zero. And so we haven't done any, like you just said, we haven't done any like outreach marketing. This has been all organic algorithm, and we haven't paid $1 in marketing in anything. And so YouTube will help you in that. They want people on their platform.
Right. People
need to understand that. And then the second thing is when you're on YouTube as a consumer, turn your consumer, hat off. And look at it from another perspective of, dang, how did they know to show me this? What was it about that video that made me click it? What is it about this channel that makes me look at everything that they do? Like, think of it a little more deeper to figure that out. Because I had to do that. I was like, yo, how did they know? You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, wait, it's because I searched this. And so then they suggested that, and they knew I clicked it because his thing was clear. You know what I mean? Like, just you start to put the pieces together and replicate that. So that way you're just not freestyling it and just not like, no, like most people don't know who you are. Most people don't care. You know what I mean? Like, you have to make people care. Like, you're not going to see our faces on our thumbnail. We use the artist face. You know what I mean? Just to kind of get people to bait them in. Now they see us, it's in 4K. At least maybe we can get them for 30 seconds if we start the video quickly.
Exactly.
I love the fact of that. I know this is going to sound horrible because it's like, damn, Anna, you love the fact that he just told us that nobody cares about us. Yes. Because the amount of people who really feel like, well, you know, everybody knows who I am. And I'm like, who is everybody?
Right.
Like, if you only want it to be your sphere of influence that sees it, then
That's fine.
You Gucci. Live your life. But if you're trying to build something beyond, you have to stop thinking of it as like you are going to be what pushes it. One last question for you, though. You made a comment about, like, the titles and stuff like that. Are there any tools that you guys utilize for, like, your thumbnails, your episode titles, or anything like that?
We create them in-house in Canva.
No. Like, as far as, like, search engine optimization, is there any, like, tool that you use to help you, like, generate?
TubeBuddy.
Yes.
We have TubeBuddy.
We use TubeBuddy. That's very helpful. Deep dive into those analytics. That helps clear up the story for you. I think a lot of people take that for granted because that's something I wasn't doing early on. You just look at views and likes. It's like, it's deeper than that. You know what I mean? You can look at where people are looking at. You can look at what channels those people who subscribe to you, what type of channels they're looking at. Yeah, you deep dive into those analytics into that YouTube studio and use platforms like TubeBuddy to help.
Yeah, I love that. So before we head out, can you please tell the audience where they can find you, how they can support?
You can find us, share, subscribe, everything like that. YouTube.com/Culturalist Theory. We're Culturalist Theory on IG. I'm Jane Q Public on IG. Go ahead.
Yeah, hit your boy up, Animal_Brown on Twitter and Instagram. And yeah, check the show out if you love hip hop and R&B or culture, period, because we will be adding new stuff very soon.
Well, y'all, my podcast is not about the culture, but, you know, as I tell people, I'm a DJ, a trapper, all of these things in my head.
A culturalist.
So, yes.
There you go.
You know what? I like that. But,
Subject
you know,
matter expert.
little something in my mind, I'd be like, do, and all the things. And so please make sure you like, support, and all on all platforms, because quite frankly, we have to do a better job of supporting each other. And I mean, quite frankly, I don't even know if they need our support. They about to take off, and I'm just trying to hold on so they don't forget me on the way, okay? As always, guys, if you are interested in learning anything more about podcasting, if you are interested in booking the studio, you can feel free to head over to Anna Agogo on all things, my website, Instagram, everywhere. And don't forget to like, share, and support, and tell everyone that the Podcast Trapper is here to trap, and nothing but new. Y'all have a good one.
Peace.